one-shotting any enemy, the best grouping, pure invincibility, supreme crowd control, extra loot. There's just no way one Warframe could have all of that, right? Wrong. Khora is without a doubt the strongest Warframe in the game, and nah, that's not just YouTuber talk, she actually is, guys. We have quite a bit on the schedule today, but by far the most essential part of her kit is Whipclaw, her pseudo-exalted first ability. Whipclaw, like Atlas's Landslide or Gara's Shattered Lash, is unique in the Warframe space for being an ability whose power is controlled by your weapons, more specifically your currently equipped melee weapon. Before that though, some housekeeping on its practical functionality. Casting will have Khora expend 25 energy to crack her whip towards your reticle, extending out either to 10 meters at base or prematurely connecting with a surface or enemy wherein a base 5 meter radius explosion will occur, this explosion staggering enemies and dealing 300 base damage, which is evenly split between the IPS elements. Whipclaw's invisible stats consist of 25% critical and status chance with a base 2x critical multiplier. Damage here can be scaled in many ways, from mods to ability strength to the combo counter. As you build combo, each large number increase will add a stacking 25% damage towards Whipclaw, capping out at a 3.75x multiplier with 12x combo. As I said previously, Whipclaw is considered a pseudo-exalted ability, because unlike traditional exalteds wherein you mod them directly, whatever mods you have on your melee weapon will carry over to your Whipclaw and also affect it. But not every mod or buff will affect it, though lucky for us it is shorter to list those that don't over those that do. Importantly, the stats of your melee weapon have zero effect on Whipclaw's performance. A build on the Mark I bow and the Nikana Prime will perform identically to one another. Mods wise, faction damage, condition overload, more unique mods like Shattering Impact or Vulcan Blitz, and Reach will not do anything, but everything else is free game here, including Incarnate weapons. So when I said that you can use any melee and get the same performance, I was kind of lying, but this is a bit of a special situation. Incarnate melee weapons traditionally have 4th evolution perks that grant them a flat bonus of critical chance or status chance or critical damage, sometimes both. By flat, I mean that these numbers are added directly onto the stats of the melee. For example, Absolute Valor will take Ceramic Dagger from 10% to 40% critical chance, and these bonuses apply to pseudo exalts as well. Alright, so great, let's take whatever melee has the highest critical chance and use it to make Whipclaw's base a crazy high number, but actually, the best Incarnate melee for Khora is the Magistar Incarnate for more than one reason. Critical Parallel adds 16% base critical chance and 1x more critical damage, augmenting Whipclaw to 41% base CC and 3x on critical damage. Those are insane stats to have on any melee, much less an ability, and once we get to modding it, you'll see why, but firstly, I gotta tell y'all about Magus Aggress. Magus Aggress is a relatively common operator arcane, stating that on Warframe melee transfer, which is hitting your melee key while an operator, heavy blades and hammers will gain a bonus 300% critical damage for the next 4 attacks. You're probably thinking, Kai, I don't want to spam this every 4 Whipclaws, that would be mad annoying, but nope. Whipclaw casts do indeed benefit from this while also not removing a stack, cause why wouldn't they? And because Magistar is a hammer, obviously this works here, so we've established part of why it is the best melee for her, but how we mod it will really seal the deal. Stances do not matter, just use it for capacity. Remember that condition overload doesn't work, so prime pressure point it is. Critical scaling though is where things get interesting. Blood Rush at 12x combo provides 440% of 41 towards Whipclaw, that totaling out to 180.4, leaving us with a final CC of 221.4. With the inclusion of both critical damage mods and Aggress, that stat is boosted to 16.5x, and the passive of Gladiator Might adds another 110% to our CC for 266.5 final. That's a pretty good place to be, but I did promise y'all red crits, so I throw in Sacrificial Steel for another 220%, and our final CC becomes 356.7%. Yeah, that just isn't fair at all, and we still have 3 more mod slots. Spoiled Strike is one of the only other applicable mods here for 100% more base damage, though if you have a Riven, use that here absolutely. Desired stats are critical chance and damage, and base damage. I dare you to take a shot every time I say critical in this video, or actually don't, you'll probably get alcohol poisoning. Before we can talk about these 2 slots though, melee exposure's gotta be covered. This arcane adds corrosive damage to your melee for casting abilities. Since Khora is literally just Whipclaw, Whipclaw, Whipclaw the frame, this will cap itself out at 240% pretty quickly, even with just a single one of them, like mine. With corrosive already obtained, I recommend you mod whatever stat the faction you're going to be facing is weak to here. If you don't want to be adjusting it all that much, just run viral. It has the added benefit of being made with a primed mod to make it slightly higher damage than other statuses without one, but in this day and age when you can just hover over a mission and check what the enemies are weak to, you really don't have that much of an excuse, or you're just lazy, which actually, yeah, that's a pretty good excuse. The extra slot does not have any useful mods, so you can skip that, but that is Whipclaw modding covered in totality. And oh my god, the script is 3 pages already. Shit.
You not done, bro.
What are you talking about? Oh, well, I mean, I guess. On Khora herself, Arcane Fury provides 180% more base damage after hitting a crit, and more importantly, there is her augment accumulating Whipclaw. This augment provides a stacking 35% damage bonus to Whipclaw whenever you hit 3 enemies with it, which caps out at 350%. This additional damage is not coded as traditional base damage though, rather it works like and is additive to the bonus provided by ability strength, making building for that stat entirely irrelevant on Khora, as nothing else in her kit scales meaningfully off of it today. Okay, am I finally done?
Yes.
Alright, thank god. Contrary to what this video may have you believing, Khora does have 3 other abilities that are actually really good. Thankfully though, they're not as complicated. Ensnare is her second ability, also being a subsume, and in my opinion is the strongest grouping tool in the game, period. Casting requires an enemy, said enemy will then be entangled in chains, completely disabling them, while after a short duration, all enemies within a base 10-meter radius will be pulled towards them. This pull does not require line of sight of any kind, and unlike so many, if not all other crowd control tools in Warframe, works on acolytes, which renders them virtually defenseless. Ensnared enemies also receive 200% more damage from Whipclaw, and if they somehow survive more than one tap of it, which they shouldn't, a new chain will be sent out to pull more enemies in. Binari relative to the rest of her kit though is, yeah, awful. Okay, I guess I lied again, but that just means we have a free helmet slot, which is a good thing in today's meta. Yet we have one more ability to cover before that, Strangledome. Strangledome, like Ensnare, is fantastic crowd control, but what everyone really knows this ability for is its augment, Pilfering Strangledome. This augment causes any enemies held within the half pentakis icosahedron to drop extra loot, or rather have a 65% chance of doing so. So not only does she one-shot everything, but now they'll drop more loot for her in turn. Lovely. Functionality-wise, besides that, there are 26 vertices for enemies to be held within. While held, they will take a very small amount of IPS damage, and weapons and abilities will deal 200% more damage to them. Sadly, Whipclaw does not benefit from this, but striking one enemy that is chained up will redirect 50% of that damage to all other chained enemies, rerolling the crit and status chance individually per. Finally though, there is our helmet ability of choice, Lycast's Hunt. Yeah, I know, you probably didn't even know this ability existed, but man is it strong here. Lycast gives melees a 50% chance to drop a health orb on kill, which Whipclaw does trigger, and works for both energy sustain and our chosen method of survivability, shield gating. Look, before you click off, this isn't the annoying type of shield gate like Saren where you've got to pay attention to your health and spam mult every half second just to live, because consider how Khora is already played. You are spamming Whipclaw over and over and over again. So by making it cost as much energy per cast as possible by equipping Blind Rage and then using energy to shield conversion mods like Brief Respite and 3 Augur mods, a singular cast of Whipclaw will refill 104 of her shields. Equip Catalyzing Shields, which will lower her base to 94 and set the gate duration to 1.33 seconds, and now she is practically immortal. But this does come to the issue of energy dropping rapidly, which is where Lycast and Equilibrium come in to manage it so incredibly well you don't even need Energize. Let's finally talk mods because it has only taken us 5.5 pages to get here. Double Augments for reasons previously established, Blind Rage and Catalyzing for shield gating with Brief Respite. Overextended and Augur Reach give us 220 range. Do note that Whipclaw's explosion on connection with a surface only scales up to 200%, but Ensnare and Strangledome do benefit from that additional 20%. Equilibrium for energy management, and lastly, Prime Continuity for duration comfort. Prime sure-footed because staying off your... Nah, not this time. Throw Fury in here. This slot is entirely open, but I use Arcane Resistance, so she is truly immune from death, Toxin being the only way she can die. But there is more to Khora. Even with the Venari ability subsumed off, you still have her at your side and are able to mod her. Said mods looking like this. It's pretty simple. Pack Leader means that every Whipclaw hit will give her Overguard, so she is effectively immortal, and Bite plus Tenacious adds another 1.2x critical damage to Whipclaw, as if we didn't have enough of it already. Which reminds me, wait, there's more stuff for Whipclaw that I kinda forgot about. Where the hell is the guy that said I was done? Bro was just wrong. Archon shards of either the red or purple variety can be used to further increase the critical damage multiplier on Whipclaw. For your companion, you can use literally whatever you want. Just make sure if you use a beast that Pack Leader is on it for easier survivability. The Sado is used for a very specific reason tied to Lycast Hunt. If you kill enemies with more than 5 status procs, the duration of the ability will be extended, and this can continue infinitely, meaning that you should theoretically never need to recast the ability. Sado is great for this due to its insanely strong secondary fire for status priming. Use this build here, and then whenever you shoot a group of enemies, you will cap the duration back up to 60 seconds easily. Secondary is also free, just make sure you have 2 auger mods equipped for shield gating, and the melee, well, we spent a while talking about that already. Focus school wise, Naramon is great for maintaining combo if you happen to not see enemies for a little bit, but if that's unimportant to you, use whatever. And there we motherfucking have it. Khora perfected, ladies and gentlemen. I can finally retire this frame until inevitably 1999 adds some broken shit to her kit or something. I don't know. And then I'll make another Khora video and get clowned on it when it's literally been 11 months since my last one. Y'all just some haters. Regardless though, because she asked so nicely, here's May with the outro.
Hey guys, thank you for watching. And if you want to get more videos like this early and support me in my book buying addiction, for $5 a month, you can subscribe to the Patreon or YouTube membership. Thanks a ton for all of you already supporting. If you want to come hang out, Kai, and most importantly, I am very active in his Discord, and I would love to talk to you guys on stream. See you guys next time. Peace.